Some say it was divine intervention. Others say it was everyone being in the right place at the right time. Whatever the reason, the man you're about to meet says he's not sure why he's alive today.
All right, how are you? Thank you, guys.
By all accounts,
Thanks very much.
all the people in this Goodhue, Minnesota fire hall may not have met.
He's quite a remarkable guy.
Had circumstance not brought them together.
Gentlemen, how are you? You know, very few people that go through what I went through ever make it.
If you need proof, look no farther than the long line of men and women filing out the door, all for one man, who, by coincidence, they all met, but by choice helped to survive.
Probably the most remarkable event that I've managed.
And again.
Now, to most, a photo op in front of a big helicopter in the center of town may be a big deal, but it's small in comparison to what brought them all here.
So I came back inside and I called 911.
911, what's the emergency? We're at Don's Foods in Goodhue, and the guy just fell.
He was outside and he was laying there. He was still breathing at that point.
Candace Kane was at the counter of Don's Foods with clerk Carol Skrypek when Howard Schnitzer went down.
And then Al showed up and kind of took over everything, which was fantastic.
So I came through here. I took off running.
Brothers Al and Roy Lodemeyer run a car shop across the street. They're both first responders and were quick to help.
I followed him over, ran across the street, and I could see the gentleman was not moving. Right away, I checked for pulse and breathing. And
in the meantime, I'd run over to get our rescue trucks. Critical situation here. We need the AED.
And the gentleman was laying on the sidewalk outside. He was laying where I'm standing. And I said, "It's too cold. We can't do this out here." And we pulled him into right here, right to this area.
They started what would become a marathon of CPR and shocks from a defibrillator. Howard was in cardiac arrest, a condition from which most people die before they ever make it to the hospital.
That's fallen. Just conscious but unresponsive.
I come over with my squad car. I got on my radio and called dispatch and I said, "Get Mayo 1 in the air."
351 to 104, we're on scene.
Soon, paramedic crews from 3 towns joined in to help keep Howard's blood pumping. They moved him to the fire hall so they'd have more room to work.
It's like the perfect storm. Right? Everybody's doing what they need to.
A bucket brigade of hands taking turns pumping.
Joe, Kyle, Mayo 1, landing time 17:32.
Then lands Mayo 1. A chopper with a medical flight crew from Mayo Clinic. Mary Swoboda, the nurse on board, was stunned when she entered the room.
So to look up and think to myself, it's taking a whole crew of people to keep this guy alive right now. And it was just something, I've never seen it before like that.
That's because usually medical experts stop CPR within 45 minutes. By this time, it had been going on for at least an hour. Flight paramedic Bruce Goodman told them not to stop because even though Howard was in a bad heart rhythm that could be fatal, ventricular fibrillation, their monitors showed he was getting oxygen to his brain. But they couldn't stop that bad rhythm.
But this whole thing just went on and on and on.
CPR, 11 shocks with a defibrillator, and doses of medication. When it looked like it wasn't going to work, Bruce called Mayo Clinic Dr. Roger White.
I said, "Bruce, all we can do is blast him with another big dose of an antiarrhythmic drug."
Then, one more shock.
We gave him that 12th shock, and it worked.
Success after almost 2 hours of continuous resuscitation.
It blows my mind. It's amazing because, you know, there was a lot of doubt about whether or not I was going to have a mind working at all.
Howard survived. He says he's humbled by the people in this small town, Al, Roy, and the others, who stopped their lives for a time in order to keep his going.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Statistics show this reunion wasn't supposed to happen.
Dr. White, how are you?
Oh my goodness sake.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my goodness. What a moment of union. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment.
Oh, glad to be here to provide it for you, sir.
Oh man.
But for Howard, the statistics aren't what matters.
There had to be some sort of divine intervention of some kind.
Howard doesn't remember much about that event. The only residual effects are that his heart muscle has some damage and he'll likely face a bypass operation in the future. He says his survival means something. He wants to be there for people, just like the people of Goodhue were there for him. For Medical Edge, I'm Vivian Williams.